Okay, so this is my evaluation question 7, and it's basically about how I've come a long way from the prelim and how my AS now is different to my prelim. So I've never done anything like this before, so filming and everything was all very new to me when we started AS. It was really hard to just pick up a camera and know what to film and what would be effective and what wouldn't. So we started with making a prelim where we worked in just groups that were in the class, and we just used a basic location, which was the classroom. We did it in about half an hour, the editing and filming. It was a really quick task just to get us to understand the cameras and things. So we created this prelim, which was basically to look at 180-degree rule, match in action, and shot reverse shot. We also wanted to create narrative enigma, which we just learned. So we tried not to show the faces and things at the start, and we tried to start with a little narrative, and it was just basically about editing and looking at Final Cut Pro and stuff. So this was the prelim. I'll show you. So that was our prelim that we made. So we learnt a lot from this. So we learnt things such as cinematography elements, such as framing and creating the narrative enigma. We also learnt about manipulating the mise-en-scene, which we didn't do very well in here because we didn't really know what to do, but we went on to look at our microdrama, which I will show you. So that's our micro drama, where we split the cast in two, so for us it was girls and boys. But this consisted of a bit more organisation, so we did need to manipulate the mise-en-scene, such as we got props such as a rope, and we all dressed like our characters would. We also wanted to look at shots such as creating narrative enigma, where we didn't show the face at the start. And at the end, when she gets killed, we also looked at the impact that audience feedback has. So we looked at a lot of audience feedback on this that we got from, and then saw how an actual film would be made. And we also looked at techniques for editing, so such as layering, black and white, blue, like we've used here. But we didn't have that much knowledge of this, so I think we just stuck with blue, and it was just a basic quick edit. So after this, my first attempt was called Red Christmas. Let's see if I've got that. I think this is it. Turn it on. Yeah, so that was just this opening of our first attempt at RAS, which was a short film opening, a horror opening for 2 minutes. And our idea was an idea to have a killer Santa, to kill carol singers at Christmas, so he didn't like Christmas. So the idea was good, but it would be quite hard to recreate as there wasn't like snow and stuff at this time of year. So I worked in a group of 3, which the other 2 didn't really put that much into it. So I ended up doing quite a lot of it, and it was really hard to film on my own. So it wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. So you can see that in this it wasn't very good, and like there wasn't a lot of shot variety and shaky shots, and it just wasn't realistic. It was also hard to arrange a date for all the cast to be there. So this was just a date that everyone could do, and it wasn't realistic because there was no snow and the sand theme didn't work, and yeah, so unsatisfied, I set out to do this again this year. So this year I tried to do the same idea but actually making it realistic. So I tried several attempts at this, but I don't actually have those because I didn't upload them, because I just got straight feedback from the class and Dave. So it wasn't very good to show these, and I didn't like them. So finally I asked Dave if I could change my idea, as I didn't think it was successful anymore, and I didn't like it, and I didn't think it was very good, and I was going to finish and drop it because I didn't like it. And I was finding it really hard to get the grade that I wanted. So this time I thought about looking like outside the box, so like using more realistic costume, better actors, and maybe like arranging the cast and paying them to do it, because everyone's got a lot of stuff on at the moment and it's exam time and stuff, so no one really wants to be sat doing my media. So I reshot this Red Christmas a few times and it didn't work. So I changed my idea to The Handyman, which was basically about a killer, or sort of like The Babysitter Wanted, which I took a lot of intertextuality from, and Cry Wolf, and I tried to cross-cut these from one another to make it more scary. I also did auditions for an actress, which was more effective than just using people that I knew, so I could get the actual effect of what she will, like what I wanted and what I wanted to recreate, because the acting needed to be really good to make it realistic. So this was the actual production that I did. And I think it's a lot more successful because I did use a lot of different shots, like a lot of different shots. Like I reshot it over and over again. I'd planned each shot that I wanted to do. I'd arranged all my props and all my costumes. I also, because the cuts need to be realistic, I also looked at what cuts might be realistic, such as looking at films like this. Also the actress that I chose did do theatrical makeup at college, so this was really useful as I could get her to do her own makeup. So this was really good and it worked out to be a lot better than I thought. So for this to be really successful, I tried a lot more things. So I tried a lot more rough cuts. My blog was a lot better. I kept up to date with everything, which was really important, and I tried to make it actually scary so people would be scared, such as not showing the killer's face, a narrative enigma. And this as well, you don't really see much of the killer, you just know there's someone there which you can see. I also use a lot more editing tools, such as like stabilisation tool, keyframes, and I used a lot of effects such as the black and white and the layering. I also think the title was really effective at the end. This time I also helped create the soundtrack, which I didn't do last time in my first attempt of AS, as I left it to one of the members of the group, which didn't really work because it didn't really work with the film. But this one really worked as I got a lot of research from it, and I was able to plan my ideas a lot better. So the new direction led me into this final cut from doing a lot more research on the films that I actually wanted to look at. The drafting process really helped me, as I was able to get a lot of feedback back from each person. So I was able to get feedback from Dave, the class, friends. I also got feedback from Twitter and YouTube, and I was able to promote it quite widely to other people. I also filmed it at my work, so I had a sign up at work telling people to watch it and stuff, so that was really good to promote my work and get feedback from what they thought, as they were really older and were not my target audience. So this has led me to success, this film, and I've really enjoyed making it. I can be proud of, and looking back to my prelim, I've developed as a media producer so much. Like, you can see from the first one to this one how much I've changed. I considered research and planning, cinematography, organisation, editing, and in this one, which in the beginning I had no idea about. The Final Cut software as well is also what professionals use, so it was really easy to understand, which we just taught ourselves on basically, but it was really good to do. So yeah, it's been really good, and I think I've learnt a lot from the prelim, and I've produced and developed my ideas a lot more than what I thought I would after several attempts. So yeah.